This is Review Your Gear Radio with your hosts Chris Husted and Jason Renner. Coming to you with the latest topics, reviews, and techniques for hunting and fishing in the Midwest. And here they are, Chris and Jason. Take it away, boys.
Hello, Review Your Gear Radio. I'm Chris Husted.
Jason Renner.
This is Season 4, Episode 12, the Post-Walleye and Salmon Tournament Edition. Why? Because we're both off of a walleye and a salmon tournament. So yeah, we're clever like that. So let's start, well, it looks like I'm first. We're talking about the Four Bears Casino Cup Tourney.
It's like show and tell.
It's a show and tell, except this is crap and tell, because we both had awful tournaments. I literally had not a minute and a half into the tournament, stopped, rolled into the spot, put down the first chub, literally was reaching for my second rod, looked back, it was bent over. I mean, it was bent over. And had it on for maybe 5-10 minutes, and we were shallow. We were very shallow, and I couldn't get her off the bottom. You know how those are when they just dig in. And it popped. Just wasn't hard. I don't know what I could have done differently. What's worse is it got worse because I managed to lose 4 fish in a row. And we were literally fishing for 6 bites. And when you miss your first 4, do the math.
So I'm gonna be facetious.
I know what you're gonna say, but let's bring it.
Okay. Do you think it has to do with using circle hooks?
I've had really good luck with circle hooks in the past.
Okay.
I've had like a tournament a few years ago where we never lost a fish all day, and we had a lot of fish going.
But again, I'm going to bring something up.
What's that?
You've switched equipment since then. Okay. And you
Is this
switched to softer tipped rods.
Which, to be honest, I'd never used before the tournament.
Okay. So with the softer tip, there's more give. So is there less resistance on that backbone to bury a circle hook properly, where they're designed for an octopus hook to bury?
Are they?
You'd have to reach out to JT.
That's a good question. So, with that being said, after all of all the talking about the JT snare, a gentleman by the name of Adam Hotz, who is a listener of the podcast, borrowed me 2 snares for the tournament the night before. I was pumped. Had them fully rigged, new line, ready to go. And
braid or mono?
I put Fireline on, okay, and then ran mono leaders. Long story short, they went continuously. Well, all the bites came on the snares, and the snares were awesome. It loaded up like it should. The first one, you had to take it. You had to go tight because it was bent over. The other ones, I caught it early, and so I was able to feed them.
Okay.
Did I not feed them long enough? I don't know.
Or here's me being
go ahead. Let's hear it.
The devil's advocate here is those are meant to load over so far, give to the fish, and then help bury the hook.
Well, at any rate, there's a lot of unfortunate things I had to learn on tournament day. I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have changed a thing going into the morning. We had a spot all to ourselves. We were shallow. We had big marks in there. We had big fish going. And then when you're fishing for 6 bites and you miss 4 of them the first hour or so, it was. And then we started to question. If we would have had, let's say, 4 in the box, we would have probably grinded those last 2 bites. We didn't have that luxury. We had no fish in the box going into lunch.
So I'm going to be devil's advocate again, because that's kind of my job sitting over here during your time. If you would had those, let's say you had 4 6 to 7 pound fish, would you have and would you grind it for those last 2?
Oh yeah.
Or would you have Tried to go put two in the
No,
box.
I would have grinded for those last two.
Okay.
It's a decision you make, There wasn't, like I said, there wasn't a lot of fish in there on side scan, but there was some big marks.
Yeah.
I feel the right fish were in there. Anyways, Chubs were the ticket. I hear a lot of the guys with the good weights, they had them going on Chubs. I'm actually laughing at myself because I did happen to find out my 8.5 foot Shields rod is in fact 2-piece because I'm a moron. And last but not least, I will say this was the first time I really put that Yar-Craft down and fully loaded, full tank of gas, 3 guys in the boat. We just about touched 60. It was like 59.6 or something. I was happy with that. As boat 35 in the first flight, I think we probably passed about 8 or 9 boats or so.
Nice.
Going downstream. So that part was fun.
Yeah.
It was the first time I really, for a lack of a better word, had a race with that new boat. So, and I will be honest with you, and you know this. I'm already looking forward, I think, to another Yar-Craft. I'm just blown away by the boat. It's a little bit different than my Skeeter in a lot of ways. It's actually, they're completely different hulls when you think about it.
It's almost got like a bass hull to the bottom.
Well,
with a deeper cut.
Well, it was bought by Basscat, is that correct?
Yeah.
But the hull hasn't, to my knowledge, when did Basscat buy Yar-Craft?
2014, 15, somewhere in there.
Is that a good guess, or is that just a wild guess?
That's a wild guess.
Basscat buys Yar-Craft. Sorry, we should have done our homework on this. It looks like 11.
Okay.
Yep. December 12th, 2011. So,
that makes sense.
The hull has been very similar. And, sometimes, a lot of people may say, well, that you need to add more things, but at the same token, if it's not broke. And what I really like, too, is some of the simpler things, at least on my boat, in the fact that, like, the switches are a little more old school.
Yeah.
But I know they're going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not as pretty, but functionally they work like they're supposed to.
Not aesthetic.
Well, but I think they're fine.
I know.
But if you just see where some of these boats are going now with their complete control screen panels and
touchscreen,
it's a lot going on. And heaven forbid that goes out. I don't know. There's sometimes it's kind of like with these new vehicles, they keep stuffing all these sensors in. It's just more things to maintain, go down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, took the home mechanic out of the world.
Well, at any rate, really love the Yar-Craft. So I see a future with running a Yar-Craft for a while. That's for darn sure. So why don't you tell me about... give me some good news to the Great Plains Salmon Derby recap.
Well, a very good listener of ours, Jonathan Fitzik, he won the tournament. So, one of our listeners, congratulations.
Congratulations, sir. Was he fishing by you, kind of?
Oh, yeah, they were fishing. We watched them boat about 4 or 5 fish. We tried to kind of mimic what they were doing.
Cheater. I'm just kidding.
Not gonna lie, we tangled up trying to do what they were doing. We put the cannonballs right into the mud. Had kind of a show for a while, but we had the same problem you guys had. We lost 4 fish that day. I lost a pretty decent fish. I mean, saw the flasher pop, saw the fish. He waved his tail goodbye. It was that close. I could tell the size, whole 9 yards. But it is what it is, and sucks. But a little bit smaller fish. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of those 8 to 10 pound fish. Are they in the system? Are they out west yet? Who knows where they are? I've heard rumors of fish being caught still by Hazen. So maybe they're 2 weeks behind. I don't know.
Did any guys, I mean, all the guys pretty much fish the grounds, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, it's tough. The tough thing about Skakawea is in the deep water, besides off of a few flats where it gets deep, it's an old river channel and it is full of trees. And these trees have taken guys' boats down that get their downriggers hung on windy days. I mean, it's a game you can play. You can go troll those trees, but it's a forest down there if you get out.
How tall are the trees?
Some areas 40 to 60 feet.
Wow.
I mean, they're big trees.
Yeah.
I mean, we went and marked some out there, and I mean, even the Riverdale Bluff, it comes up. It's about 109 in one area, and I think it comes up to about 60.
Okay.
I mean, it's not fun being in trees. Downriggers and trees are not fun together.
Right. Right.
And it's just not like the Great Lakes where you have this huge, vast amounts of open space. There's still structure in it. So that's the tough thing. And the guys that do fish it, all the props to them, they got to figure it out if you can go west. So, the other thing is with the size, I'm trying to figure out with our releases, they're not buttoning up. Again, kind of like you guys figuring out with the Chubs is how come the hooks aren't buried in them deeper? Are the fish not hitting it hard enough? Are they not, are they hitting the flasher? Because there is a lot of, I'd say 11 to 14 inch Cisco's being caught.
Okay.
So when you think about it, that's about the size of the flasher we're using. So I don't know if the salmon are actually hitting the flasher, but it's kind of interesting. And we finally caught one in herring, so hopefully that's our start.
Do I have to remind you that you do own an underwater camera?
I know I do own one. I'm probably going to put it down this weekend.
Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's have some tales from the Chub Tank.
Tales from the Chub Tank.
And it's Renner's turn to not turn his phone on silent today. Yeah, like I said in the tournament, definitely Chubs were the ticket, which is no secret. Last month it was hit and miss, but it's traditional late summer, big baits, big fish. What really surprised me, though, not going back to the walleye bite, how shallow the fish were.
Well, you got complete opposite ends. Like the east end, they're 30 to 50.
What about the big ends, though?
There's a lot of big fish over there.
In the 30 to 50?
Oh,
we always talk about there's always fish deep, but shallow. I mean, it was just amazing that they're still there. But with that being said, we had a massive die-off 2 nights before the tournament. Thursday night, we put fresh water in Tuesday night from the lake. And Thursday afternoon, I opened it up and I was certain, and there was a bunch floating. And then lo and behold, we started scooping them out to put in a different cooler with fresh water. There was just tons of dead ones.
So was the water you guys put in too warm?
I don't know. It was from the lake. We kept it in the camper. We always do.
I'm just saying the surface temperature out there is 70-some degrees.
Yeah.
When you think about that and you're trying to keep your chub water, you got ice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you had them cooler and then you change
we use ice bottles and things of that nature to get it down. But anyways, sometimes those things just die.
Yeah, they're everybody says they're so resilient, but I've yet to see them be resilient.
I don't know. Chubs are finicky little whatever. With that being said, yeah, love them and hate them. I'm really it's a hate thing right now. But no, seriously. Our Chubs came from the east. I know that everyone loves when I talk about areas and locations, but if a guy needs Chubs, further east you go, the better it is. That's all I can say about that. School starting and camping season is starting to wind down. How do you feel about school starting, sir? We're only 3 days away.
Be honest, it's going to be nice for me working from home.
Agreed.
To boot their butts out.
Totally agree.
But I mean, we're still going up to the lake this weekend. I think we're gonna get 2 more weekends of camping in.
Okay.
Before I put to bed the camper.
You know, you can camp like pretty late, and you have the campgrounds to yourself.
Oh, I know. And I was looking. Well, even the reservations for this weekend were wide open.
No kidding.
Up at Skakwe State Park. I mean, I had no problem getting a camping spot. Not the ones I wanted, the good view ones, but I mean, oh well, I got one close to the bathroom. That's kind of a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how about yourself? You going to take your rig out one more time?
Well, yeah, it's August 22nd. It's just really hard for all the money, effort, energy you put into those things to put it away so soon.
Yeah.
We do not have a camping spot for Labor Day weekend. We just have so much going on. It's tough to do it once school starts, but I think we're going to force ourselves to do a couple in September.
Gotcha. Yeah, we looked at Labor Day campground spots, and then we decided to talk to father-in-law into letting us for Labor Day.
Well, right on. So, yeah, with that being said, camping season, God, it's just hard to believe it's preschool season. But hey, what does fall mean?
Hunting season.
Hunting season. And, well, it's technically already started here. And a week ago, our goose season kicked off.
I do have something wacky on today.
What?
We seen lessers up Skakwe.
No way.
Yeah, I've seen a flock of lessers.
Like
a legit. Trust me, I was in the boat with a biologist, and he goes, well, "What are those dummies doing down here?"
I wonder if they migrated and just didn't go up. And just stuck around. Why would they migrate down this early?
Or maybe they're kind of like, "Oh, hey, we went too far." I have no idea. But
I mean, they're barely starting to migrate off the tundra.
I know. But like my brother said, he goes, "What are they doing down this far?"
It's crazy. Crazy. But yeah, we have dove season. I tell you what, we have a lot of doves.
I think the weather's supposed to stay pretty warm, so
they won't all leave. Of course, they never do. But yeah, I don't think people realize how many actually leave. Before the season starts, it's kind of like teal. Yeah. Like they're gone.
Well, I don't think
a lot of them are gone before season, I'm saying.
I don't think it's mainly temperature. I think it's the solar, the light fading in the evenings.
Could be.
Gone.
So something in their clock tells them it's time to boogie. And but yeah, the amount of dust I've seen this year is incredible.
There's tons.
And a lot of the crops are down. It's pretty. I've seen canola going down the other day, and I was just licking my chops.
I'd love to find a good canola field to shoot doves out of it.
That's probably, I would say, in my experience up here, it's probably their favorite food. Those little canola seeds are just perfect for doves.
You get like the other one that I've seen is somebody hayed a wheat field that got hailed out and had a ton of pigeon grass. Seed in it. That one was money.
Yeah, anything that's small seeds, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's on like Donkey Kong,
I think. So.
And I used to have a lot of good shoots on like cow ponds. Sometimes, really, with doves, you just gotta really pay attention, like into their fly. Like they'll enter and exit a field pretty regular, the same spot.
Same flight pattern. They come into water holes, the same flight pattern.
So, that's where scouting, of course, pays off. Just paying attention to what they're doing.
Correct. And, God, are they tasty, too.
Are we going to go dove hunting on opener?
We need to dove hunt.
Should we dove hunt opener?
We need to dove hunt.
Should we do a live from the field? I'm just...
Hold on.
Oh, we missed again. But yeah, did you see the waterfall? Mallards were down. What was it? Was it 48%? 52? I can't remember. It was a lot.
I thought it wasn't bad for mallards.
I could have sworn. Now you're going to have to pull up the Google bot.
I thought it was down like 9 to 10%.
Are you sure? Duck numbers. What am I looking for? 2022.
I think over the long term average we're down, but we're not.
Well, the bright spots were, of course, teal. Teal are way up.
And then redheads were actually showing some improvement. The one thing I did notice is pintails are way down.
Oh, yeah. 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 What was that? They were down like, I got to get my numbers right here. I'm pulling up. Species. Okay. Mallards are down. Okay. I'm way off.
Yeah.
So down 23%.
But only 9 from the long term.
Okay. But the long term average, pintails are down 54%.
Yeah, that one's awful.
But, I know it sounds weird, but look at the redheads and canvasbacks, which historically just get crushed, are actually kind of stabilized.
Yep. And the Scott population's kind of, because they were on a big crash too. So,
well, yeah, but of course they're still, well, I guess from 19, it's literally flatlined.
Yeah. Which is not terrible because they had some serious numbers they were down.
Where did I get 48% for mallards?
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe I don't know already. That's why Google is there, sir. But also, we got. Have you seen deer cam pics starting to roll in, and you're seeing them on Facebook, things like that?
The two things besides I heard complaining about was, I didn't get a deer tag. Yeah. I didn't get my pronghorn license this year either. I think I got like 10 bonus points for next year. But the other thing is there's not, in most areas they're near the river that got hit by EHD. There's no mature bucks left. I do.
I've been seeing a decent, not a lot, a decent amount of deer around the river valleys, which is good to see.
Correct.
But it's gonna take some years, yeah,
but course. Not near what it used.
Of course not, but it was so doom and gloom. So any deer you see is a good sign. But I know you this time of year driving to say Langler's on Oahe and back used to be a scary ordeal coming home at sundown.
Correct.
Coming all the way home. You had muleys at first, leading into whitetails, getting closer to Hazelton. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And and now you don't see any. I mean, a few, but
I mean, I'm glad they backed off on the licenses and let them recover in certain areas. But I mean, in certain areas, there's lots of deer still, which is fun.
Right.
Those areas. There's lots of leftover tags southwest and certain areas. So southeast, go shoot a deer.
Go get a deer. Find a new area.
That's right.
With that being said, we're going to find a break here on Review Your Gear Radio. God, I'm clever. And we're back here on Review Your Gear Radio. Mr. Renner, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When to go big or really small for trolling crankbaits?
I like to match the hatches.
Here's the thing, though. What size are the smelt? Okay, we're going to talk about go to Lake Skakawea because that's where we both been this past week. A lot of what they're puking up in the live wells is about 3.5, 4 inches, we'll say.
Correct.
And we can't get 3.5, 4 inch crankbaits to go for us consistently. For example, I had a run that was just loaded with fish last midweek. It emptied out the day before the tournament, but we were getting them to go on literally the smallest stuff in the boat. For example, our biggest fish all trip actually came on a jointed number 5 shad wrap in red crawdad. Just a little shatter wrap on Leadcore. Our second biggest fish, I believe, came on a clown small hornet. I don't know, what is that, size 4? I mean, the really small ones.
That's a 4, yeah.
Again, some of the smallest baits in the box were the most productive. The only downfall to those little hornets, skippies, love them. Skipjacks were all over them. You couldn't barely beat them off the stick. But when the walleyes went, it was one of the best crankbaits. So we had better luck. I think towards the end of the week, the largest we were using were like number 7s or 5s or for like flicker minnows, if we were even using them at all.
So here's the other thing about smaller baits. You got a tighter, more erratic wheel.
Yeah. We trolled 4 lines. One of the lines was a big reef runner. We just wanted to try big baits just to the test.
Yeah.
And we kept rotating. It didn't matter. It didn't get touched.
Huh.
But the little baits were all fishing them like 7, 8 to none or 1. I mean, it was just dumb. Night and day. So sometimes, no matter how much you match the hatch, sometimes you just got to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it helps. Just be patient. I mean, if you're going through a lot of marks, if you know the fish are there, and you go through them and you're not getting them to go, keep trying.
Just switch it up.
Right. Also, this last week, slow deaths really got slow for us. Blades. We had a lot better luck on blades when we were trolling bait. So.
The spinners.
Yeah. Let's have a Mille minute.
This is your Mille minute.
I didn't put your cheat sheet on there.
I know you didn't.
It's still the same.
Yeah, no, but you still can't keep fish. You can catch them. You just can't keep them.
I think it starts is it September?
September 1st, you can start keeping 1 walleye.
Yay. we might be able to make a fish taco or 2. Depending on the size.
Depending on size.
So that's your Mille minute. That was pretty exciting today. So Leadcore, it catches fish, but I'm going to reiterate, it is a pain in the butt. I use 2 different types of line on 2 different reels. I believe it was the Tough line. I got to double check. Is that the brand I'm thinking of? Tough line Leadcore?
Yeah.
So I'm going right to the shop. This is the 3rd time I've reached to Google on this episode. Wow. Yeah, 30% smaller, 3 times stronger, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I use the micro lead, the Tough line micro lead, and I don't know. I seem to have better. It didn't bound up in the reel as much as the Suffix.
It seems to lay better.
It does
in the reel. I just think it's better made, and their Dacron.
Yep,
is similar.
We didn't have one follow up on the Tough line all week.
Nice.
And I hate to say it, but the Suffix not so good. Not so good.
You can order that bulk spool that was down there.
But yeah, with that being said, it's tough to put a lot of time, energy into a reel of Leadcore, get to the lake only to realize this stuff sucks. You know what I mean?
What I don't like about it is there isn't a whole lot of feeling to braid for fighting the fish. And Leadcore,
it's ropes.
It's just like
it's rope. I know,
hand over fist.
But you know what? It catches fish.
Oh, it does.
You know, I use a long leader of fluorocarbon, and it works. I don't know. I mean, I like I said previously, I put 10.5-foot rods on as my main Leadcore rods. Awesome. I mean, they put in work. They worked well, especially since we were running small baits all week.
Yep.
So they shine. Let's have some headlines. So usually we jump around with all over the place, but gosh darn it, we had Bassmasters on Lake Oahe, just darn near in our backyard, sir.
In Mobridge.
In Mobridge.
Did you see the weights?
They were pretty good.
Oh, they were decent. Like 3 to 4 pound average fish.
Well, what's interesting, though, is the guy that won it really ran away with it at the end. I shouldn't say he really ran away with it because he only won by just over 3 pounds, but it after about the top, we'll say 8 or 10, 9, top 10, the weights really dropped off.
But you could tell the smallmouth guys, like the real smallmouth specialists,
Yep,
really shine.
Well,
really shine.
It was a deep bite, was it not?
Oh yeah, it was 25 to 35 feet.
Is that what it was? I thought it was deeper than that. Even.
It was they were transitioning. They were mainly on points that came out close to the river channel. Usually 20 to 35 feet was the feeding window. Then they dropped into that 35 to 40 feet was kind of their staging. But it had to be access. It had to be a point that almost ran out into the main river channel with almost 30-foot drop-offs on the end, like from 50 to 80 feet.
What were they using? Do you know? I was too busy.
A lot of the guys were using bigger Ned rigs.
Okay.
So Ned rig is, depending on, it's a pretty big jig head.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually basically almost like a straight tail.
Yep.
And I'm sure they're mimicking.
Is it like wacky style or?
No, it's called a Ned rig.
I mean, but how they rig it?
Yeah,
Do they rig it right into the bait so it's weedless?
Yeah. So, and then it is technically just called a Ned rig, is what it's called.
Okay. I've heard of them, and, I just don't bass fish anymore. But
a lot of spinning tackle. I'm sure they were using live scope.
Oh, I'm sure.
To watch their baits down.
When I was a kid, I bass fished like it was my job. I just, when I moved out here, we just don't have bass fishing out here. I mean, we do.
Yeah, we do.
We do, but we're just too crazy chasing other stuff.
Well, I truthfully think that Lake Sakakawea could have a BAS tournament there and have...
They won't, though.
Legit.
Because there's obviously things in place to keep them out.
The biggest thing that I'm going to say, and this is what I've heard from bass guys, is they don't like that we're in a no-call state.
So?
They like to, we catch them. Or they could implement their catch and release ones if they really wanted to.
They can. There is so few bass taken out of Lake Sakakawea. So few. How many do you see in a summer at the cleaning station? I can probably count in 1 or 2 hands.
And it's usually by people that don't fish a lot.
And that's awesome. Hey, if you want to eat them, great. I'm not judging that. Do I have to remind you it's a lake with more shoreline than coastal California? I mean, there's a lot of bass in that lake. So
there's tons of smallies in that.
So in other words, I wouldn't freak out if there was fish taken out.
It was super calm for the tournament. And when I was watching smallies jump next to our boat over 100 feet of water.
Nice.
I mean, I've watched them jump. I mean, I could tell they're bronze backs. And I mean,
sure,
it was cool to see. I mean, and we're out over 120 feet of water.
I would expect them to be carp, but hey,
no, these are bronze backs. In fact, I know a couple guys that were casting spoons for the goldeye. Because we give prize for the biggest goldeye, and they caught some smallmouth. So,
what the heck?
Yep.
So the Make-A-Wish fishing tournament is a hit with kids. This is, again, I talk about this all the time, and we need more of this. They had a Make-A-Wish tournament, kids with terminally ill, and they all got a chance to win prizes, awards, all sorts of things. Lots of fish caught. And this was down in Alabama in Orange Beach. So always really cool to see. That for sure. And this one is actually going to be raising a few hairs out east. Michigan big game hunters must now report a harvest online within 72 hours, including GPS coordinates.
Oh boy.
So now they say only the DNR will have access to the GPS coordinates of the actual harvest location, which is needed for two very important reasons. One, more effective disease surveillance, and two, the ability to build a network of harvest locations over a time so they can adapt management guidelines to better align with harvest numbers. This means better overall management recommendations for Michigan's deer populations. However, if you're your average Joe Schmo deer hunter, you are not putting GPS coordinates of where you shot your hard work put in all fall.
Do you think anybody's going to really...
I wonder if people are going to put Walmart, if people are going to put like the DNR office. I'm just jokingly saying that, but here's the thing. The first year, and I'm actually on the DNR website for the state of Michigan, they are saying, and I quote, the first year we will emphasize an educational approach to hunters rather than enforcement in most circumstances. So you get it's a gray area as usual. I hate that. But at the same token, it looks like you have a grace period of a year. And then after that, they're probably going to start cracking down.
I don't think Michigan or Minnesota has units. Like deer units. So I think this is their answer to that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
I'm not a biologist, so I don't know what's going on. But
that's why North Dakota has their units, is so they can track the harvest and
and that makes sense, because what's going on in the Red River Valley does not reflect what's going on out in the Badlands. So we're unique like that because we have a lot going on in this state in terms of topography. Michigan, trees.
And more trees.
So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are not happy right now out in Michigan. So let me ask you this. What is the best fishing shirt for hot days? Do you have one of those yet that you're like, this thing rules?
I just think anything with a hood.
I'm not a hood guy.
I like my hoods because when it gets real hot on my neck.
Keeps it, yeah, I get it, because I burn on my neck. I was using sunscreen on my neck all the trip.
What?
On my neck.
What?
Yeah. Because otherwise I just burn. Every day, all day, I can't stand it. So I really like the ones. Now, I'm not, me, I could care less about the brand.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But I do like the hook shirts that have the collar, kind of high collar, so it kind of keeps your neck covered, and it has a double layer. Does that make sense?
Yes, it has a breathable layer.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Those are my favorite. Still, and there's a lot of companies that make very, very, very similar to that. I mean, they're all knockoffs, but
I like the one. Yeah, they have the breathable.
Yep, I bought some off-brand. At Shields that was on sale the other week. Thing was awesome. Very similar. It wasn't a hook, but it was like half the price.
Yeah, that's wow.
Same thing.
No.
I'm just not as cool at the landing because I don't have a hook logo on my shirt.
That's not even that cool anymore. Sims, man.
That reminds me. Should there be a rule as to how many stickers / decals are put on your boat? I saw one this weekend that had like 40 stickers. You could barely tell what color the boat was. Anyways, that's so. How about let's have an update on the best fishing net for 2022?
Well, what are you saying?
I hear a lot of people talking about these new clam nets.
See, I've heard good things.
Oh, what's the bad?
I've heard their baskets not very reliable.
What? How so?
Heard that the baskets have a tendency to get hooks in them and also break.
The basket breaks?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cheap.
The net.
The netting breaks.
Yeah, netting breaks.
What kind of netting is it?
I have not heard.
Okay. Well, given how new it is, they shouldn't be breaking. This is the first year of them, aren't
Correct.
they?
I mean, it's got the scale on it. It's got, or not, I think they got one with a scale on it.
Okay.
They got a ruler on it. I mean, they're nice nets.
Actually, putting a scale on it's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah, and, aluminum, and I think Frable's coming out with one, too, that has scale built into it, too. So.
Okay. I do like those RS nets. They are heavy. Very heavy.
Oh, they're just, I thought.
But they're the best made nets.
Correct.
I mean, I think Ranger nets are nice too, but I really think RS nets are tough as nails. Now you're paying for them; they're about $200.
About $200, but they're so, like, guys like us. It doesn't matter, but if you're fishing with your wife or your young kid, those heavy nets are cumbersome.
Yeah, no, I use them for tournaments or for cranking because you can extend them.
Correct.
And it's not like the ego nets where, when you extend them with a big fish, you're afraid it's going to break.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of those either.
No, but boy, you look around. There are a lot of them in circulation.
Oh,
I see a lot of red nets. A lot of red nets in boats. So they get used a lot. So, best way to store food long term in a cooler, sir?
Long term in a cooler? Are we talking?
Like, if you're going to go camping for a week.
Yep.
How do you pack it?
Vacuum seal.
Okay, smart. Vacuum seal is really the way to go.
Yep. Even if it's frozen and in, like, butcher paper.
Yep.
Vacuum seal on the outside of it.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. We use Ziplocs. Like freezer Ziplocs, pretty, heavy duty, but I think we could have gone a step further and
it just
start
insulates it,
packing them.
Oxygen, because even once your meat starts thawing, if you got beef,
yep,
it gets a little bit of oxidation to it. I mean, it doesn't hurt it, but it's
not the same.
It's not as appealing.
I won't eat it. I like when they're like mooing like a few hours earlier. I like it fresh.
Oh yeah,
fresh cow is good.
Fresh cow.
So what's cooking on the stone, sir?
So I actually used my stone tonight.
By the way, you didn't give the intro.
What's cooking on the stone? We're on practice.
I guess we're on
vacation mode still.
What?
But I did use my stone.
What'd you make?
I had a couple of ribeyes left over from the weekend that were cooked, but nobody ate them.
So you just reheated?
No. Chopped them up. Kept them on the side. I cooked some mushrooms, peppers, and onions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cook that up with some butter. Got butter.
Yeah.
Melted the cheese on top of the veggies, and then just threw those cut up chunks.
Nice.
Short hot fire. Put it all together. Slapped it. Toasted a bun.
Nice.
And they used Sam's Club has this garlic butter that's already pre-made.
Yep.
One's great on shrimp, and two, it's great on those sandwiches. You slather it on there and toast it with that garlic stuff. Oh, God, those are awesome sandwiches.
Wow.
I went gourmet tonight for the leftovers.
I finally got to have my fresh BLTs last night. Garden lettuce, garden onion, garden tomatoes, fresh bread, and bacon was on sale at Dan's. That happens like twice a month. Anyways, it was like they had Cloverdale extra thick cut for $13 for 3 pounds.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That's not terrible. No. And again, usually they're pretty high priced. So we cooked up all 3 pounds.
Well, of course.
It was amazing. I like thick cut bacon. So, I mean, it's bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really go wrong with bacon? To me, really, though, thicker the better.
Yes.
It's easiest meals for camping trips. What are you finding?
Fried rice.
So you're actually bringing the cold rice with, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I make it in advance.
Yep.
It's so easy because I could do it with steak. I could do it with chicken. I could do it with shrimp. Really good.
Right.
I've been buying fresh shrimp out of Sam's, and it's great.
I love fresh scallops too.
Oh yeah.
Is there such thing as scallops fried rice? There should be.
Yes, there is. You've gone to hibachi.
Yeah, but
Scallops
you ever seen scallops fried rice on the menu somewhere?
No.
So that was my point.
Okay.
We did burgers, brats, steaks, rinse, repeat. I did all my cooking on the Blackstone and
How'd
the
you like
grill.
your 17?
I loved it. Once I got it seasoned, the only thing is I don't like it when there's any kind of wind.
They are sensitive to wind.
Very sensitive to wind. So, like one night it was blowing enough where I didn't even bother with it. For that reason.
Yeah.
Also, you're right. They do suck a lot of propane.
Oh, yeah.
So I get about 2 meals maybe per pound.
Gotcha. I got a hose.
Oh yeah.
That
I had too many.
camper.
I have too many ice fishing leftover 1-pounders. I had to get rid of.
Yeah. But I mean, it's got a quick coupler to my camper.
Yep.
So it was piece of cake.
And I have one of those too. I'm a moron. I just don't use it. I had to use up those.
I was going to order the wrong hose. You got to have a non-regulated hose for that because it's already regulated to come out of the camper.
Who are you, Warren G? Last but not least, go-to cocktails this summer in the heat. What are you drinking out there at the camper?
Pendleton, and
that's what you have it here.
I know. That's what I've been drinking. Well, that and a little bit of I haven't done it in a while. I do love my Morgan Coke with a squeeze of lime.
Squeeze a lime.
Gotta have a little squeeze of lime. Gotta have a little citrus.
I had, just like we're having tonight, I had a lot of vodka cranberries.
You're kind of on a vodka cranberry.
I don't know. It's just sometimes just simple booze in one. Yeah, simple. It's simple. It's easy.
What do you think, Pendleton diet?
Yeah, I get. I like to mix it up, but boy, I was on a cranberry kick all week. I don't know. Tito's and cranberry.
Well, at least we know your bladder's in good condition.
It's great, in fact. So great that I love the fact when you get older and you have to get up 2-3 times a night to use the bathroom. That's
and
awesome.
your body's full of antioxidants.
What are you, a doctor?
No, I'm just saying.
Did you stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night?
Yes, I did.
All right. I'm Chris Husted.
I'm Jason Renner.
This was Review Your Gear Radio.
Thanks for tuning in to Review Your Gear Radio. Be sure to tune in next episode, and don't forget to check out reviewyourgear.com. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Till next time, tight lines and good times in the outdoors.